Acting is a rather glamorous profession. Actors get to walk down red carpets in $1,000 suits, have access to some of the most exclusive places on earth, and get paid enough to afford mansions most of us could only dream of. But there are some actors that rise above the rest, not necessarily in talent, but in pay. Today, we're going to take a look at the 10 highest paid actors of 2019 and see exactly what they're doing with all their money. Number 10. Will Smith, $35 million. Now, this is a story all about how Will Smith earned $35 million acting in 2019. As I'm sure most of you know, Will Smith rose to fame in the 1990s, acting in The Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. While just working on that show would be enough for most, he wanted more, and he went for it. In 1996, he made the true break from television to movies when he starred in Independence Day. This cemented him as a big-name actor and led him to landing roles in Men in Black, Enemy of the State, Ali, and iRobot. Throughout all of this, he earned additional money rapping professionally. Since the 1990s, his career has continued to grow. Most recently, he played the genie in Aladdin, one of my favorite childhood films, which earned him about $12.5 million up front and a large percentage of the film's earnings on the back end. So, what does he get with all this money? For starters, how about a $42 million home in Calabasas? The 9-bedroom house is fantastic by itself, but when you factor in that it's set on 150 acres and some of the most prime real estate in the country, well, you really see its worth. The home features a meditation lounge, a recording studio, a movie theater, a basketball court, a volleyball court, a tennis court, a large swimming pool, and a sunken trampoline. Number 9. Paul Rudd, $41 million. Paul Rudd has been in dozens of films since his debut in Sisters in the 1990s. From playing a rebellious, hilarious teenager in Wet Hot American Summer to portraying love interests and side characters in dozens of rom-coms in the early 2000s, he's amassed quite an impressive filmography, which has led him to earning an astounding $41 million from acting in 2019. Of course, most of his acting money comes from Marvel. It may come as no surprise, but many of the actors on our list have Marvel to thank for their thick wallets. For Ant-Man, Paul Rudd earned about $1.5 million up front. But for Avengers Endgame, he earned $8 million up front and at least 2% on the back end, which adds up to another couple $1 million. And that's even without having an incredibly prominent role. With his money, Paul could afford to live in a mansion in Calabasas or a penthouse in New York City, but he prefers to stay away from all the hustle and bustle. He owns a large house in Rhinebeck, New York. Little is known about this house, but he has been very vocal about the custom-built Irish pub that he had put in the home's basement. In addition to his home, Paul has spent a fair amount of money on cars. Over the years, his collection has included a 1991 Ferrari F40, a Ferrari 599, a Bentley Supersport, an Audi R8 V10, a 2011 Aston Martin DBS, and a 2010 Mercedes SLS AMG. Number 8. Chris Evans, $43.5 million. Is it Chris Hemsworth? Chris Pratt? Chris Pine? No. Coming in at number 8, earning $43.5 million, we have none other than Chris Evans, our beloved Captain America. Surprisingly, Chris Evans hasn't been acting for incredibly long. He got his start in 2001, acting in not another teen movie. However, it wasn't until 2005, when he played the Human Torch in Fantastic Four, that he started to gain some traction as an actor. Even then, it wasn't until 2011, when he played Captain America, that he became a household name, and boy, did his career skyrocket from there. In the first Captain America, he earned $1 million up front. By Endgame, he earned $15 million up front, and a large percentage of the earnings on the back end. With his money, Chris Evans has managed to snag a fairly nice property for $3.5 million in Laurel Canyon. The 3-bedroom, 4-bathroom house has a pool and spa with a steam shower and freestanding tub, which gives him a great place to relax after filming. There's a massive walk-in closet, which I hope has at least one of his Captain America suits for safekeeping. Number 7. Adam Sandler, $57 million. The next actor on our list has been one of the highest paid actors for years, even as his career shifted and changed. Coming in at number 7, we have none other than Adam Sandler, who earned $57 million acting in 2019. Most people know Sandler from being a cast member on SNL, and from his string of wacky comedy movies movies in the 1990s. Those films like Billy Madison, Happy Gilmore, and The Waterboy made him a slapstick comedy staple. But that's not where he wanted to be forever. Sandler went on to play more serious roles to critical acclaim. Most recently, Uncut Gems earned him several awards and is viewed as the best performance of his career. After earning so much money over the years, and $57 million in just 2019 alone, it's no surprise that Sandler has a nice place to rest his head every night. Or shall I say, places. He owns homes in Malibu, Los Angeles, Boca Raton, and in his hometown, Manchester, New Hampshire. His Los Angeles home cost him $12 million and boasts 7 bedrooms and 15 bathrooms. His Malibu home cost him $3.9 million with 3 bedrooms and 3 bathrooms and beach access. Number 6. Bradley Cooper, $57 million. Yet another Marvel actor to make our list. Bradley Cooper made $57 million in 2019. Considering he's been in the business less than 20 years, that's fairly impressive. He actually got his start in acting in 2001 in Wet Hot American Summer alongside Paul Rudd, who he would later star in several Marvel movies with. Now, it might be safe to assume that most of his $57 million came from Marvel, but in reality, that's far from the truth. Only 10% of his earnings in 2019 came from Avengers, and though around $6 million is no small amount, his real money came from A Star is Born. 70% of his earnings came from the musical romance he produced, directed, and starred in. And considering the movie grossed $496.2 million, well, that's a lot of cash. With all that money, Bradley Cooper has scooped up quite a few houses. He owns a $3.5 million mansion in the Pacific Palisades and an even more impressive $13.5 million townhouse in New York. The townhouse spans 5 stories, has heated floors throughout, an office with a wet bar, a subterranean garden, and a full theater in the basement. Mr. Cooper sure is living large. Number 5. Jackie Chan, $58 million. The oldest and perhaps one of the most well-known actors on our list, Jackie Chan comes in at a cool number 5, having earned $58 million in 2019. His career began way back in the 1960s, where he landed small roles as a child. By the mid-1970s, Jackie was becoming well-known for his stunt work and martial arts expertise. However, he struggled to find work as an Asian actor against more well-known stars like Burt Reynolds. He returned to Hong Kong to work for a while, and it wasn't until he starred in Rush Hour in 1998 that he received critical acclaim in the United States after decades of trying. From there, he became one of the world's biggest celebrities, starring in movies like Shanghai Noon, Around the World in 80 Days, and the Rush Hour sequels. The amount of acting he does has diminished quite a bit in the past few years, but he's still earned a lot of money from residuals. He owns many luxurious properties in Beverly Hills, Miami, Beijing, and Hong Kong. His Beverly Hills home is worth $6.7 million. It spans 30,000 square feet with a massive wine cellar, a recreation hall, and several spa areas. I see you, Mr. Chan. Number 4. Akshay Kumar, $65 million. Hollywood may be the epicenter of film in the world, but it isn't the only place where you can make money, and Akshay Kumar proves just that. Perhaps the most well-known Bollywood actor, Kumar earned $65 million in 2019. He starred in many television shows and Bollywood films starting in the 1990s. Since then, he's starred in over 152 films, including Sabse Bada Khiladi, Hera Fairy, and Houseful. In 2019, he starred in Kasari, which earned $28 million worldwide. Mission Mongol, Houseful 4, Good News, and Lakshmi Bomb, all of which earned him millions and millions of dollars. In addition to acting, he is known for his stunt work, leading many to call him the Indian Jackie Chan. Akshay strives to keep himself and his children out of the public eye as much as possible. However, it is known that he owns a seaside duplex in Mumbai. The home has a massive front garden, floor-to-ceiling windows, an indoor pond, and a large master suite. Number 3. Robert Downey Jr., $66 million. Tony Stark is a billionaire, and Robert Downey Jr., who plays him, isn't far behind. In 2019 alone, RDJ earned $66 million, and surely you can guess where most of that money came from. $55 million came from Avengers Endgame, with $20 million up front, and the rest coming from his percentage points. He is the second highest grossing box office star of all time, with his films grossing over $14.4 billion. That all being said, RDJ wasn't always rolling in money. In the 1990s, he was a highly successful actor, earning an Oscar nomination for his role in Chaplin and earning praise for his roles in Less Than Zero and Natural Born Killers. However, his rise to fame was marred by drug addiction in the early 2000s. He went to jail multiple times, and when released, he managed to get roles, only to relapse and go back to jail. This cycle continued for many years and was exasperated by mental health issues. After 5 years of struggling, Robert Downey Jr. re-emerged, landing a role in Zodiac, and in 2008, he was cast as Iron Man, and the rest is history. Though he has a lot of money, RDJ hasn't been one to flaunt it. He owns a $3.8 million home in Malibu that has 3 bedrooms, 3 baths, and a swimming pool. Number 2. Chris Hemsworth, $76.4 million. We've already covered Chris Evans, so now it's time for Chris Hemsworth, who earned $76.4 million in acting in 2019. Again, we've got Marvel shelling out a fortune to create some of the richest actors in the world. Hemsworth got his start as a television actor back in Australia in the early 2000s. His breakthrough came when he was cast as Thor in 2011 and began his journey in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. He earns about $15 million upfront for playing Thor, not including the percentage he earns from the movie's gross. In 2019, he also earned a fair amount starring in the Men in Black remake, which grossed $251 million worldwide. Though he is a Hollywood star, Hemsworth prefers to live outside the City of Angels. He and his family live in a large mansion in Byron Bay, Australia. The home has 6 large bedrooms, a personal gym, a spa with a steam room, a movie theater, a game room, a rooftop infinity pool, and a built-in fire pit in the large tropical yard. Number 1. Dwayne Johnson, $86.4 million. The highest paid actor of 2019 is none other than Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson, who earned $86.4 million. As most people know, The Rock got his start as a professional wrestler in the 1990s, and this was after he played football professionally. Imagine being able to put pro wrestler, pro football player, and highest paid actor on your resume. His acting debut took place in 2001 when he starred as the Scorpion King in The Mummy Returns. He quickly became one of the most recognizable actors, starring in the Fast and the Furious franchise and several blockbuster comedy films. Although in 2019, his career really skyrocketed. He was paid $700,000 per episode on the show Ballers and earned millions of dollars from Jumanji. For his next starring role in the Jumanji sequel, he's expected to earn $23.5 million up front. When he's not starring in a dozen different franchises, The Rock can relax at one of his many properties. He owns a $5 million mansion in Florida, and most notably, a $9.5 million farm in Georgia. The 8-bedroom mansion has a saltwater pool, a cabana, a wood-paneled library, a 12-stall horse barn, and several pastures and riding arenas. So, there you have it, the 10 highest-paid actors of 2019. Let me know in the comments down below who your favorite actor is. If you enjoyed the video, make sure to leave a like and subscribe. Oh, and turn on post notifications. And as always, I'm Mr. Luxury. Pip pip, de doodly doo.